Hey everyone, welcome to our Heat Team leadership call. We are just so excited and I cannot wait to introduce our speaker to you. The only thing I want to say, I'm Sandy Tabola and I'm one of the Heat NMDs. Really love being part of this organization. And I want to thank everyone for your prayers and kind thoughts for our fearless leader, Nikki Cotton. And she is doing much better. Thank you so much for your prayers. And just this, if you will keep her in your prayers, this weekend is the Chris's celebration of life. And so I know this will be challenging, and just please keep praying for her, and thank you for your love and your support for her. Well, without any further ado, I am just so excited to introduce someone who's really near and dear to my heart, Kathrine Lee, in so many ways. And I'm going to read this bio and then I'll share a little bit about why she is so special to me. Kathrine is a PMD Plus, that is the very top of our company, and has been a partner with the Juice Plus company for over 27 years. She has multiple 100 club leaders on her team and won the esteemed Global Value Champion Award from Juice Plus Corporate. She is a life coach, a business strategist, and social justice advocate. She is the creator of the personal development system, The Ultimate Source, and founder and CEO of the nonprofit Pure Hope Foundation. She served as a business strategist for the Daniel Plan, a global initiative founded by Rick Warren. And you may recognize her from one of her few appearances. I think she had several on the Oprah show and in O Magazine. And to read her full story, go to Kathrine's memoir, Interrupted, and it's available on Amazon. And although she has guided thousands to live an abundant life, she says the most important and fulfilling role in her life is being the wife to her fantastic husband, Michael, and mother to 3 fabulous children, Corinne, Logan, and Hannah. And just a fun fact about Kathrine, I love these. While on a speaking tour in Australia, Kathrine climbed the Sydney Harbour Bridge to overcome her fear of heights. Oh, that's amazing. Well, and what I love about Kathrine is no matter where you are in the business, she just has such a heart. And when I was new in the business, I met her first at a Winterfest in Reno, and just she sat at my table and heard her heart and just fell in love with her at that point and saw what a great mentor she was. And she has been a mentor to me ever since. And in fact, I've taken her Ultimate Source course and excited to take a few more and lead my team through them. I don't know if I said that you can learn more about Kathrine and her courses that she teaches at kathrinelee.com. And so I have been bugging this woman to come and speak with you all, because I know she will add so much value. And she very graciously had agreed. And it was just a matter of finding, I didn't really have to bug her. It was a matter of finding a time that worked for her. And so it is really my honor to introduce Kathrine to speak to us on leadership lessons.
Awesome. Oh, Sandy, thank you so much. And so I don't forget, because Sandy mentioned kathrinelee.com and the courses, please jot down this coupon code, JP Global, all one word, JP Global. That way you get 50% off any course. I never want our Juice Plus family to pay full price for my courses, because you are family to me. So anything that you or your teams take, you can pass that along. So I am so honored to be with you. I was scrolling through and I'm like, oh, there's my friend. There's my friend. I have so many friends on the Heat team. And then I see a lot of faces I've never seen. So I'm just thrilled to meet all of you that are new and all of you on Facebook land. I would love for you guys that are on live to participate in the chat. There's going to be a couple times I'm going to ask you to do that. So get your typing hands ready so that we can see that, because I'm going to talk to you today about leadership styles. So I'm going to share my screen just so that we have the opportunity to see some visuals, right? You can take some screenshots and things like that. But let me go ahead and get to the PowerPoint here. And Sandy, if you want to unmute just real quick and let me know that you can see the PowerPoint so that I'm good to go.
Oops, yes.
Okay, fantastic. All right, and I've got the access to the chat, so I'll be able to open and close that. But the bottom line is, you guys, in leadership, this is one of the most important things to remember, is together we are better. We're going to talk tonight about a lot of different styles and some shadow sides to leadership. And I want you to help me identify some things as well, because you'll make this talk even better by the way you inform me, either during this talk, or you can message me on Voxer or through Facebook to some of the questions that I'll ask in addition if you have additional thoughts. But the power, and I do want to acknowledge Melissa Falco, who I know is part of this team. She created a foundational PowerPoint that I moved around some things on, and am using that template tonight with her permission, because again, we're better together. And this is one of the slides that she had created, the visual around, and this word synergy, right? Synergy, we know we get it with our Juice Plus product, that everything working together is better than everything individually. But this for me was the first time I learned my leadership lesson. And that was when Deanna Christopherson came into my team. And if you don't know Deanna, you certainly probably know Dr. Bill Sears, who was also brought into her team. And the synergy of Deanna and I's personality, and then of course, Bill's professional, was huge. So Deanna and I was not 1 + 1 = 2. It was 1 + 1 = 11. It's the sum of the things together equal even more than the individual parts added together. And that's what leadership is. But I could have resisted Deanna's leadership because she's so different than I am. She always jokes around that she's the nuts and bolts queen and I'm the inspiration or vision queen. And so if we would have tried to resist or only have one of us lead the team, then people would have missed out on something. And that's what I want to encourage you in, because there's unity and then there's harmony. Unity is appreciating the things we have in common. We love unity. We love when we find someone that believes like we do, thinks like we do, they act like we do, or they like the same things we do, and it creates unity, right? And we get community from that. But if we could learn that harmony is even better, meaning we leverage the things that are different together. If you've ever heard a cappella, people are singing in different notes and different places, but that's what makes it beautiful. If it was all one note or all one instrument in an orchestra, it would not have the same sound and impact. So unity is great, harmony is even better. And when we have that, we have success. I love this quote by Henry Ford: coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight in leadership. Now, here's where I want your typing hands getting ready to go. What would be your answer to this question? The number one, or finish the phrase, the number one characteristic of a true leader is that they are what? How would you fill that in? Teachable, adaptable. I'm reading some of your quotes. Thank you, Debbie and Heidi. You guys were super quick. I know there's always a hesitation. Servant, vulnerable. Beverly and Heather, committed, said Irene. I love that. Okay, you guys are going fast now. Courageous, authentic, listening, making the past easier for them. Approachable. Hey, Tyra. A servant, willing to listen. Debbie Rudloff, curious, vision caster. Sorry if I'm not getting collaborators. I mean, look at all of that. I love these. I'm so excited. I hope whoever gets the chat, please send me this chat with everybody's answers. I see courageous. Excellent. Keep them coming, because you guys are informing each other. Even as I can't read the chat, you're going to be informing each other. Makes everyone feel important, a good listener. Excellent. You guys, well, I actually did a really cool poll out there. Eric Worre, and then another one of my NMDs, Dawn Rathman. This is what they say are 5 traits of a leader. If you had to boil it down to 5, they're independent, they're problem solvers, they show up consistently, they have big vision, and they create action. Okay, so everything you said plus that. And then I work with a group of amazing CEO women. I mean, these women are the top of the top of their companies. So they're the stewards of other companies. And I have the privilege of working with them. And this is what, when I asked them, polled them, this is what they said: self-aware, strategic, good communicators, cross-culturally literate, and ethical. Okay, so these are some women that have broken barriers and they have risen to the top of their industries, high level CEOs. And this is what they said. Okay, then I went to the Center of Creative Leadership, because, you know, there's analytical and then there's creativity, right? There's order and creativity. We need both. And this is what they said. Okay, here we go. Humble, ability to delegate, gratitude, learning agility, meaning I'm teachable. Somebody used that word and they're quick to do that. And empathy. Okay, let me get that up there so you have it. So that's what I heard from them, plus everything that all of you said. And then I went, oh my gosh, I'm tired. I thought, do any of you feel like you lack what it takes? Could you do all of that in a day, every day, consistently? I mean, let's just be honest. That's one of the things that I think is so important, is that we do not try to be everything to everybody all the time, because that creates a shadow side in us. We all have lack. And I always say, if you want solutions for lack, is tell yourself the truth. You have lack, right? But this is the solutions for lack in the same acronym. Stay in your lane, know your lane and stay in it, and play it to the best of your ability. Not that you can't expand. And we're going to talk about that in your leadership styles. You'll take on more and more. You become like the people you're around. So as you're around different leaders, you'll pick up on their traits. And so, but you focus on what's natural for you. Stay in your lane, alignment, align with other leaders, celebrate people's differences. Don't compete with them, celebrate them, esteem them, lift them up, and then build your knowledge. Okay, we all have natural abilities, but we also have knowledge. And when we don't do that, there's immature leadership styles that show up. Okay, these are the shadow sides of some leadership styles when there's immature. There's the ego leader. It has to be about them. There's the artificial leader. They act like they have more authority than they really do. Okay, there's the rebellious leader. Goes against virtually everything and everyone. And if course corrected, they magnify the bad behavior that was corrected. Anyone? When I start doing this, I see people looking around the room, or trying not to look around the room when I do this live. Okay, there's the critical leader. They always point out what people are doing wrong. And that is rooted typically in brain wiring. Because I do some brain wiring testing, not personalities, but literally brain wiring. And what happens is when people have a certain brain wiring, they see things differently than everyone else. And they're hypercritical because they see the gaps. And so they have a perfectionism in them, and or they were taught to be perfect, and it's exhausting. So anytime you see a critical leader, I promise you they are tired and they're more critical of themselves than they even are of you. But it's not fun to be led by somebody like that. Of course, there's the insecure leader, right? Always needing affirmation or takes credit for other people's work. And then there's the control leader, does everything themselves, then resents others for not doing it. They're often later go over time and they have to have the last word. Okay. But the key there is they do everything themselves and then they resent others. So let me ask you guys a question. Honestly, be honest. When you were going through that, when I was going through that, did you identify any of that for yourself, or did you think of someone else? Okay. I want you guys to look at, I'm waiting for the chat. So did you think of yourself or someone else? Someone else. For me. Yes, me, both. I'm loving this. I know it takes a second for the chat to start. It's like an engine that revs up. Oh, okay, I'm seeing both. Someone else, a little bit of me too. Thank you guys for your honest answers, because I think it's really important for us to be honest with ourselves if we want to grow as a leader. I'm seeing lots of both, so good. But here's the thing. Either way, whether it was shame or blame, you thought of yourself or someone else, neither makes us a better leader. Awareness does. But if we simply focus on, oh, that's it, why do I do that? Why am I like that? Or they think I'm like that. And we're just focused on our shadow side instead of turning, right? Because the shadow comes behind you. And if we're consistently looking at our shadow, we're looking behind us. But if we turn the other direction, we can move forward. And that is into your natural leadership style. Okay. So there's our natural leadership style, but then there's our knowledge that we can build to absolutely hone the skills, other leadership styles. That though is a knowledge that you have. It's not necessarily natural, but you're growing in it. But you'll always, when the rubber meets the road, things get difficult, you'll always tend towards your natural leadership style. Okay. And it's just like our abilities and skills, that same brain wiring testing that I do, you just play games. So there's no way to fool it. It's not like a personality test that you can answer how you want to. It's really what your brain is able to do. We're all born with natural abilities, and then we build skills. We tend to be more proud of our skills because we had to work hard for them. And our abilities will be like, what? That's no big deal, because you don't have to work hard at them. They're natural, but that's when we're in the most satisfied state. So again, if we will lean into that lack and do that acronym, we will find that we have greater, better together and synergy. Okay, so the next slides are your different leadership styles. Okay, these are not the shadow side. This is different leadership styles. This is strictly from me that I have observed over the past 27 years of working with high impact leaders around the globe. And I'm going to name some that are more famous or successful outside of Juice Plus and some in Juice Plus to give you an idea of what it looks like, sounds like, feels like, because when you experience it, you know it. Okay, so your leadership style is likely what comes naturally to you, but you may have been trying to copy somebody else's, thinking that's what success looks like. And that's why I want you to do this. So as you're watching these, you can wait at the end but jot down, grab a pen and a piece of paper, or hold on to that one that resonates the most. Now, again, some of you have honed and worked hard and you have gained greater knowledge and greater skill, right? Those are the things we learn by watching others or modeling other, because we do become like the people we hang around. But what I'm having you think about is what is natural to you. When you're not even thinking about it, it's the way that you lead. Okay, so hold on, here we go. As I share, I want you to identify your primary and your secondary, because we typically have two that we lean into, okay, as they develop over time. And we're all leaders, by the way, because we're all influencing someone. And you'll see the way this looks. Okay, so the first one is passion leaders, okay? And you all know their voices must be heard. That's not a bad thing. It is not an ego thing. The shadow side is the ego, but these are passion leaders. Their voices must be heard, and their heart and love is what will protect their people. And it's a little emotional for me to show this, but that was Chris Cotton. You guys, Chris was one of the greatest passion leaders I had ever met. He was passionate about life. He was passionate about his people, and you all felt his heart and loved. And that is what protects and progresses. You're going to see that those used together. Martin Luther King Jr. was the same way. Okay, those are passion leaders. Okay, then there's vision leaders. Vision leaders is they must see a future picture to work towards. You may have heard the phrase, without vision, people perish. That's the way these people feel. And seeing the future, something to work towards, and giving that to other people to see will protect and progress their people. And honestly, that's me. And Steve Jobs was that way. He always had the next vision, the next thing for people to lean into, to see. But without passion people, you can't necessarily make vision work. You're going to see how all of these aligning together is what creates the strongest teams. Okay, then there's legacy leaders. These are, their agenda is for the team to succeed and what is going to be left behind because of it. It's their generosity that will protect and progress their teams, because everything they have, right, legacy is passed down. Everything they have goes to another. And that's true at Kathy of Chick-fil-A and Melissa Falco. I happen to know Melissa very well. She's part of your HEAT team. I watch the level of her generosity with her team, and it is about them succeeding. and they just recently got an amazing promotion. And I've watched her grow. She always had this leadership style, but I've watched her lean into it and create and allow her other leaders to write up in their styles too. So that's a legacy leader. Then there's equipping leaders. Okay, these are driven to create clarity and competence. These are people that create clarity and competence. It's a pathway, the step-by-step person. That's Kurt Beavers. If you know Kurt, is a equipping leader, and it's the pathway. So if you know Darren Hardy as a leader, he's a pathway person. He's creating clarity and competence all the time. Now, this is my secondary. In fact, when people say to me, oh, are you an inspirational speaker? And I say, no, I'm an equipping speaker. I want people to have something tangible that they can hold on to and identify, not just feel something, but be able to hold on to something. So it's my secondary, but without vision, I don't have any joy of equipping anybody until I have a vision of what can be done. Okay, then there's authentic leaders. And authentic leaders it's their approachability and process. Because people that are authentic know that there's also a proper order. They're very approachable, but they believe in you approaching people in an authentic order. So although they're approachable, they'll expect and think that, of course, you would go to the person that was the front line of whatever department or whatever place, that you would go those places first, but they would never make you feel like you couldn't come to them. And truth will protect and progress their people. And that's Oprah. I had the privilege of working with her several times, as Sandy talked about. She was the most authentic leader. Now, did she have passion? Yes, all of those other things, but she surrounded herself with other people, but it is her authenticity that's her superpower. And our CEO is the same way. We had her on a call the other night, and she said, it is my job to make your job easier. And that was she was authentic about a lot of other things too, but she had the ability to be that authentic about her position and her role. And of course, that comes with some humility as well. Okay, then there's guiding leaders. And guiding leaders are the step-by-step. They are right alongside you. They love being right beside you. They're not just going to give you a pathway to follow. They're step-by-step. So it's side by side that protect and progress their people. So these are the people that are literally, they love doing every three-way call with you possible, right? They are constantly with you. They love doing that. That's Mel Robbins in the world. She's a great guiding leader, and Deanna Christofferson in our Juice Plus world. And I hope you guys, as you're listening, you're thinking of people in your leadership teams, right? In the heat that you go, oh, that is so-and-so, and this is so-and-so. And I hope you'll speak that over them so that they can see where their gifting is. Again, it doesn't mean you're limited to, it's just your primary and your secondary that is natural. And then you develop the other ones around you. And then there's, I love these, cheerleaders, right? The cheerleaders in your team, positivity is their strength, and their encouragement will protect and progress their people. Their encouragement, this is the Royal Navy, I'll tell you about, and then Diane Sears in my group. Diane Sears is one of my NMDs, and she is the greatest cheerleader that I have. She's incredible. And the Royal Navy, one of the things that they realized in the Navy is they train their leaders on positivity and cheerfulness, because moods are contagious. And remember, in the Navy, you're in a small ship in a small community. And if the leadership is not cheerful, it is going to, the mood will spread right through the organization. It is their core leadership is to be cheerful. Now, not that they're not serious. Let's be honest, this is our Navy, but they have to keep that cheer, that high in the Royal Navy, because moods are contagious, and our communities are small too, right? If we don't have a cheerleader keeping the team in that positive state, and other people over here just being this way or that way with the other leadership styles, we will lose the mood, the right mood of our team. So cheerleaders are very important. Okay, and then there's the inclusive leaders. These leaders are acceptance is their strength. Everybody is welcome, and they make everybody seem like they belong. Openness will protect and progress their people. And I really experienced Nikki this way, and Gandhi. Nikki, for me, we have different thoughts and beliefs about things, but we are so open and so accepting of each other. She is one of my dearest friends that I don't get enough time with, but I always feel accepted. A lot of people that think differently than I do or whatever, they would not discuss the things that we have, the opposite. They might talk about what you have in common, but Nikki is not afraid to talk about the differences. And I have learned more from her than I have almost anybody else in some of the differences. And we have the same heart, but the style, right? And I want to be an inclusive leader. And I have really learned that from Nikki. So she's just incredible. And then there are team leaders. And what I mean by that is leveraging talent is their strength, and belonging, not just being included, but belonging will protect and progress their people. And the thing about team leaders is you probably don't know who they are, because it is not about them. These are all the other, I want to, seriously, I want to go back to the chat. How many NMDs, if I was going to say to you, the person that can name the most NMDs will get $100, right? Be honest. If you could name NMDs throughout, but not just in your team, but throughout the company, how many NMDs could you name by name? How many of these could you name by name? And Barry, I'm not using any assessment. This is my observation over 27 years. So it's not an assessment. This is observation. So I'm seeing the answers now: 25, 50, 10 or 12, right? I'm going to keep, and Beverly said at least 50 because she's well connected. I'm seeing 20, 25, 40, 10, 50, 50. And the 50s are Alita and Tyra, who have been with the company a long time. Ruth, 20. Okay, so we're seeing anything, but from 50 and below right now. And I know more of you are answering, but I have enough of the longevity people answering and maybe some of you newer, and yet there's over 400 NMDs. Now I want you guys to think about that. I'm seeing maybe 100, and that's Daryl and Deborah's been with the company as long or longer than I have. So those other personalities are very possibly team leaders, meaning it's about everybody else. You don't really even know their names. And for me and my team, that's Bernadette Chavez. Probably most of you probably heard about Deanna Christopherson or Dawn Rathman, but Bernadette Chavez is one of my longest term solid NMDs, but she lifts up her team and she leverages their talent. She leads beautifully, but she doesn't, it's the whole team all the time. And then I put this woman, Wendy Davidson, who's a dear friend of mine. She used to be a high-end VP and ran a whole division of Kellogg. She's now the CEO of Glambia. And when I talked to her the other day, she was going to bring in a team out to our Pure Hope Ranch for a retreat. And she said, I want to bring out my executive team. And I said, oh, okay, how many? She knew we had a small group retreat center. And she said, well, can you fit 300? I was like, no, we're like 12 to 24, we, maybe up to 40. So we got her executive team, but she is what is it about the team? And it's not about her name. These are CEOs you may never hear of, but are making major impact. And so are those NMDs that you can't name. And I love that. So with that being said, the final one, I believe, if I'm remembering right, is competent leaders. And these are expertise is their strength. These are people that their knowledge will protect and progress their people. Okay, and that's Dr. Immature in our Juice Plus community. And if you know who John Maxwell is, he's that upper echelon of leadership. But his big thing is competence for himself, right? He's a competent leader and expertise is his strength. Okay, so those are the different leadership styles. So here's the question: where did you see yourself? I want you guys to jot down, where did you see your primary and or your secondary? I'm going to go back to the chat, give you a second to get in there while I'm going to check our time real quick. Okay, we're right at time, so this is perfect. I'm closing here. Okay, so I see equipping and guiding. Yeah, those are very similar too. So I love that. I need to see it on one page. Yes, we'll get that made for you, Janet. Probably passion, possibly a cheerleader, right? Do you see how often you're one plus that secondary? I see a lot of passion and cheerleader, passion and team, cheerleader and inclusive, passion and equipping, Yeah, see, and as you go, I really can't tell. Maybe you've developed additional, but I want you to think about your primary and your secondary, and then what I have seen is people that are trying to be all the leadership styles are super tired and they're not growing massive teams because they're trying to do everything, even if you're excellent at everything. Because many of us could do all of these roles. I could jump into any one of those roles at any given moment. But look for your primary and secondary and play into that sweet spot. So with that being said, ask others. I want you guys to speak this over each other if you see it, if you see a primary and or secondary in people, and I want you to maybe ask people that are around you. And I'll get this, I haven't put it into a single list, but I'll get that over to Sandy to get to you. And if you guys have any more that you would add, get them to me. Email me at Kathrine@kathrinelee.com or Boxer me. Go on Facebook and Facebook Messenger me. You can go on Instagram. It's Kathrine Lee 7, the number 7. But message me and say, well, what about this or that? Because again, this is something I've observed over the past 27 years. And when I teach this, I really see people relax in their lack, right? So if you lack leadership, meaning you're not duplicating in your team, then relax into your place and remember this acronym: lane, alignment, celebrate, and knowledge. Okay. The more we do that, the more we're going to enjoy our leadership. And bottom line, if somebody asks me, what's the #1 attribute of a leader? I would say confident, humble growth. Somebody who's confident in who they are as a leader, they're humble enough to allow others to lead, and they're always growing. So I just want to thank all of you for showing up tonight. I'm going to stop my share because you're here. You're here tonight wanting to grow. You showed up, and I hope that you will be more confident. You'll speak life over your team. You'll make room for more leaders, and you'll play into your lane and enjoy your life as a leader even better. So thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you so much, Kathrine. I can't remember writing so much in a training. This is so awesome. I'm going to go back and watch it again. I'm sure a lot of you want to as well. And it is alive in it's Turn Up the Heat is the page that Heidi recorded it into, so, and then as soon as we get it recorded, I will post it, or we will make sure it's posted, and I'll send it to you, Kathrine. Thank you so much. I love that. I don't know about you, I want solutions. You know, it's like, yeah, I know I'm falling short in areas. What are some solutions? And I loved the slack.
Yeah, the lack. And here's the thing, you guys, when we feel like we're falling short, it means we're not playing in our lane and in our strength. The more you let those others fall away and rise other people up, the less you will feel that way. I promise you. This is one of my kind of superpowers, is I love watching other people rise up and play in their strengths, because I'm a vision leader. So it's big, the things I think of and come up with, and there's no way I can do it alone. And so rising that up, you will not feel that kind of inadequacy. So I'm excited. I promise you, I know you guys are wanting all on one page. I will get that, and then we'll put it out when we put the recording out. Hopefully I can get it done quickly and get it out. And I see lots of thank yous. You are so welcome. My daughter just walked in. You guys, I never do Zooms. It's after 8 in Texas time, and she would never even think I was on a Zoom this time of night. So sorry if you heard her coming in with hello, but that's real life for you.
No, we love that. And thank you again for giving up your time for us this late for you. And if you would unmute yourself and just tell Kathrine thank you and good night.
Thank you.
You're welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Kathrine.
Thank you.
Have a
Thanks, Kathrine
beautiful
from
evening.
Texas.
Good night, Kathrine.
Oh, I love it.
Good
Good night, you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night. Bye, everybody.
Hey,